what went down last week at AmFest. There were so many things, revelations that came out, and it does not look good. If you are in the conservative movement, I think the lines are being redrawn, and everybody is kind of just staking their claim. Who are we going to go with? Who are we going to ride and die with? Are we going to stick with Ben Shapiro, with Steve Bannon, or are we going to go with Tucker Carlson? There's a lot of options that we can float out there, a lot of people that we can get behind. And there's been a major disconnect, and everybody is feeling like who can we trust? Who is going to lead us into the promised land? Who is going to continue to develop America so that it becomes more of a prosperous nation, that it's going to stand for the forgotten men and women out there, people that care about America, care about the bright future that we all want to happen. Who is going to lead and take the mantle and run with it? There were a lot of things that happened at AmFest that went down, and we're also going to discuss Erika Kirk. There's no shortage of conspiracies going about and spiraling out of control about her. And I think the leading promulgator of this mindset has been Candace Owens. But where do you stand on Erika Kirk? Was she involved? Which to me it just sounds distasteful and ugly and horrendous to even bring up the thought that she was involved with the conspiracy to kill Charlie Kirk, if there was a conspiracy. But that's where you have to land if you're going to go that route. We're going to take we're going to look at what Steve Bannon said at AmFest, first of all, when he called out Ben Shapiro and had some nasty things to say about him. Was Steve right? Or do we have to pick a side? Take a look at this.
Now, Benji Shapiro sat up here last night, and he was all, it's all about the truth. Ben, I've known you a long time, brother. You can't handle the truth. Let's face it, Ben Shapiro is the farthest thing from MAGA. Let's be blunt. He is a hardcore never Trumper. He's a hardcore never Trumper.
He's not too wrong. He's not too wrong about that. I think Ben Shapiro was very slow in coming to the side of Donald Trump. Very slow. Out of all the people that are out there, and a lot of people, I have to stick up and stand up for Donald Trump because I have also been questioning a lot of things he's done. But when we think of the alternative and what it would be if he had not taken office, we would be going off a cliff, I believe. I think we would be going off a cliff, and you wouldn't have the protection that you have right now. You wouldn't have the freedom of speech, the freedom to be able to voice your opinion. We are just getting now used to censorship being a bad word. And I think that has to do with the culture, the influence of Donald Trump. Because I know I've been ragging on Donald for some time now and just saying a couple things that I disagree with him about. But really, I mean, he has opened up the ability to critique people, the ability to say things that are not as becoming, to say things that are on your mind without fear of being just destroyed and demolished. He's the one who paved that way. He's the one who's given people, he reignited freedom of speech.
In the spring of 2016, he tried to upend Breitbart. He walked off the job, made a big deal about some incident in Mar-a-Lago with Corey Lewandowski. He tried to turn it to Ted Cruz from Donald Trump because he hated Donald Trump. In the general election, he barely supported Donald Trump.
Steve Bannon, he's the one who's pushing this idea that there is going to be a 2028 Donald Trump, that things are being put in place so that Donald is going to run again as president. Which, I mean, I'm not going to go there right now. Let's just take it a year at a time. This year has been pretty bad, I would say, overall. It has not been good, and I think everything went off the rails with the whole Epstein fiasco. And I know a lot of people do not like to hear about that. They don't want to talk about that or acknowledge it. But that is what has just driven the whole presidency in a mode that is not in its best interest. Donald Trump, he was rolling. He had everything going. And then with Elon Musk falling off and that whole feud that happened, that sparked and then just went into the whole Epstein thing with Elon Musk just rolling out of the White House and saying, hey, Donald Trump, he's on the Epstein list. And then we didn't think we were going to get the Epstein list for a few months. And Donald Trump tried to stop it the entire way, did not want it to come to light. Now it's just coming out for everybody to see but those were major missteps by Donald Trump and the whole way he handled that.
First sign of when President Trump gets sent back to Mar-a-Lago, the very first individual that jumped on the Ron DeSantis train, the Israel First train, was Ben Shapiro. And those are the darkest days we had. In 21 and 22, you guys were there. He's consistently been against Trump. And now that President Trump doesn't back the Greater Israel Project. What is Greater Israel? It's not about Israel itself. It's about an expansionist Israel, an imperial Israel that Netanyahu and that crowd have thought up.
Lines are being drawn, and it's which side are you on with Israel? And I never thought it would come to this, but that is the major talking point that everybody is caring about. If you're in the conservative movement, this is what's going to fracture and just separate everyone. That people that care about Israel and whether they're running everything, they're having influence in our government or not, that is becoming the orthodoxy test. And where do you stand on that? And I think a lot of people care. A lot of people are obsessed with it, which I think give Israel a lot more credit than they really deserve. And I think we do that in a lot of areas. At the end of the day, a lot of conspiracies are just, we give government officials and people that are in the higher ups a lot more credit than they deserve to pull something off. And I'm guilty of this. And I think now everybody's making Israel. They're the easy scapegoat that we can throw everything on. They're the reason everything's going bad. There's something to align and everybody get behind this battle cry of hate Israel. So but it's becoming more and more stark, whether you're going to go the Steve Bannon route or the Ben Shapiro route, because I don't know if things are going to be people are going to make up within next year with the midterms. It's unless Donald Trump tries to coalesce everyone and really bring everyone together, it does not look good whatsoever. I did want to touch on Erika Kirk shortly about everything going on with her, because all I am seeing is, and I had to show this because what Candace Owens started and ignited, people are running with it, and now they're analyzing what she said when she spoke at AmFest, basically insinuating that she is behind Charlie's assassination, because she says once Charlie was assassinated. They're parsing her every single word, watching every look that she has on her face. If she smiles, you see people saying, it's been after 3 months and you're that happy. You're really thriving after 3 months. But it's like, is it going to become 3 years? When is enough time for somebody to? And I'm sure she is suffering and she's grieving, but she chose to take her mind so she didn't just dwell in that darkness that she had to go through, and she wanted to come out and make something to extend Charlie's legacy. And I think Charlie is the one that probably would have wanted her to step in that role. I'm little. I go back and forth because I don't think it was the best idea. But now that I say that, I don't know. I honestly don't know if Charlie would have but that's what she chose to do. It's in the heat of the moment. She quickly decided to do that and she ran with it. But I want to take a look at this. This is what people are going with and saying, because she said once Charlie was assassinated. Check this out.
Proved even more once he was assassinated. Once he was assassinated.
This indicates anticipation. Like, once you finish dinner, you can have dessert.
My entire speech has been white.
That is insane. And I know that this guy, he's taken the talking points of Candace Owens and he's running with it and saying about Erika Kirk and just throwing this on her, which seems awful to even think about. Like, because she said once he was assassinated, that means she has blood on her hands of her own husband. That it's so sick and twisted. I don't know how we got to this point, but just to be a person that, if you want to accuse someone like this, and a widow at that, I would be really careful about that. I would be really think through what you're saying and what you're throwing on her and what she's gone through. I mean, if there is this massive conspiracy and she was behind it, pulling the levers somehow, that seems very out there, extremely out there. So, but if she wasn't, and you're putting this on her, that it does not seem at all in the best interest of your own well-being, as well as anyone, because you're just tarnishing her name and just hurting her, as a person. It doesn't seem right at all. We'll leave it at that. I wanted to just throw this out there. Smash the like button, and also if you can go, if anyone's listening from Apple Podcasts, go and leave a review. Give me whatever you think, if you're so inclined to do that. I saw that some people have done that lately, and I really appreciate that. Anyone that does, give me whatever rating you think. I know I might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I'm always striving to improve in whatever I'm doing, and I do care about what you all think. So if you can, go do that as well, and have a great day. See y'all.